right, babies, direct from the beautiful Inland Blue Studios. Honey, this is the Nerdlife Crisis podcast with your hosts, that fine-ass Chris Thayer, that beautiful Steve Hale, and that big hunker chunk of meat, Ron Milts. Woo! Mama's hot up in here. Let's get this party started.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerdlife Crisis podcast. Here with your host today,
Chris Thayer,
Mike Eastman,
and I'm Ron Milts. Guys, it's a whole other episode.
Woo! Oh my goodness!
All right, so this should be, I think we're in episode 117 right now.
Are we really?
Yeah, it'll be the Rise of Skywalker will be 116, and this will be 117. So
I had no idea we had that many episodes.
Well, it doesn't feel like it because we record so rarely at this point.
Over the course of how many years?
It's been 5, I want to say.
That's pretty respectable.
It's not bad. I mean,
not
we're
one a week or anything.
I mean,
but
look, we've never been a weekly podcast. At best, we've been a bi-monthly podcast over the last 5 years, but, you know.
Yeah, has there ever been a time where we've done every week?
We tried, and then it just didn't come together. Like, it lasted maybe about 4 weeks, and then we were like, yeah, we're not.
Well, that was also in a different time of, like, you know, Walking Dead. Every week's episode, you don't want to talk about that kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of that going on right now.
No.
It's sort of a... I even look at, like, my queue in, like, my on-demand, and I'm recording, you know, all kinds of shit. And it's like there's 3 things recorded all week. I'm like, where'd all my shit go? I got nothing to watch.
I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to, like, we binge so heavily now that it's and that's one of the things I've loved about the Mandalorian.
Amen.
Is it's like you've got like a weekly release and something to look forward to, and I don't feel like I gotta, like, it's like with The Witcher. Like, we can't talk about The Witcher yet because it's 8 hours and it's Christmas, or 10 hours and it's Christmas, and I haven't had 10 hours to sit down and watch 10 hours of new TV since the 22nd of December.
Yeah.
So, it's like I'll get around to it. We got flights coming up. I know what I'm doing at the airport on
this is true
on the 1st, but yeah, I mean, it's like without a regular release schedule, like at least Walking Dead was every week, and Chris and I are still on Walking Dead, but Steve isn't anymore.
Right. I mean,
are you still watching the other one?
Fear?
I have not watched season 5 of Fear. I'm going to come back around to it at some point, I assume. But
Guys, it's finally the time. They finally found it.
They did find it for about a season, and then...
Oh, Jesus. Until the Zomnado. Then it was over.
How dare you? That show is comic gold. No,
it's definitely comic gold.
No, I mean, look, in Walking Dead proper, like, that show has come back around, too. But, it
was better. The new showrunner really helped.
It's never going to be its heyday again.
No.
And we don't have enough listeners that probably care about that show that want to hear us talk about it anymore. But,
maybe.
Well, I mean, there's at least 20 people that listen to the show at this point, maybe 15, but,
David, do you want to hear us talk about it?
It's Kyle and David. Do you guys both? And
is Glenn still
Dean,
listening?
Glenn and Dean. It's like we know all of our listeners by name at this point.
We're doing shout out corner right now.
So if you're a listener in the show, Roman, and we didn't shout you out,
Seriously. Get more active in that group.
There you go. So, but yeah, we do got some stuff that we can talk about.
Courtney posts a lot.
There you
go.
Eric.
It is the end of the year.
Eric, oh my God, Eric is keeping the
memes alive.
The memes are
quick. Let's talk about Little Mandalorian here. So we finished off the season. We haven't talked since episode 5. So we've got episode 6, which was the gang episode.
Yes.
Them breaking into the prison ship.
The horror movie.
Yes. The horror movie.
It was very Aliens-esque. I liked it.
Okay.
I can see that.
I get you.
I mean, there's no...
The Mandalorian was the monster. He was, stalking them through...
Sure. And then the 7th episode, which was the, getting the gang back together episode.
Right.
Before the finale. Really, the 7th and 8th episode. It's kind of funny. Well, it's kind of funny. You go back and you watch the series, and you could watch episodes 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8 as a movie.
Right.
And that's like one story.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 are all bottle episodes that just feel like some shit I don't need,
Right.
So
I did not dig the blue people planet. Everyone wears blue clothing.
Oh, the
ATST.
The farm planet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one.
I liked it.
It's probably my least favorite of the run.
Right.
Like that one, like
no,
it's so dumb where you're like, watch out for the hole. Yeah. It's a hole. Oh my God, it's a hole.
Right. No, my least favorite was the Tatooine.
I don't even remember what happened.
When he had to
after that
help
to him.
out the other bounty. No, the one where he just like help out the young bounty hunter.
You mean where he's helping out like Ralph Macchio from the Karate Kid? And he's
That's
like,
it. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
he's like, hey, yo, I'm a bounty hunter looking to hunt some bounties, you know? Oh.
I was kind of bummed that they killed her off that quickly.
Ming-Na
I
Wen?
fucking love her.
You're like,
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she is so dope. And I was like, oh, come on. You're going to kill her off that quick?
they did knock off Mulan pretty quick.
But
That was not okay.
That was the worst episode by far.
You think that one was the
No,
Tatooine
I still
episode?
think I still
Yeah.
think the blue fashion people on the
I don't
farm
know,
planet
man.
was kind of dumb.
That was fun. They'd have set traps. It was like Home Alone.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
Did you say it was Home Alone?
Yeah, with the Mandalorian. What's better than that?
and Joe Pesci and fucking who's the other guy that's not Joe Pesci?
Daniel Stern.
Daniel
Yeah.
Stern. They're like outside. They're the wet bandits.
Imagine if they were the Raiders. Isn't that a movie you want to watch?
I don't know. As long as
It would have been better
it would have been better
if it had
than
them in it.
Then they're like, watch
getting-
out for the ATST.
He's getting the fuck me eyes from like the.
Whoa.
By the way, she's all, take off your helmet. He's all,
I think it's funny that everybody wants that fool to take off his, and everybody's in love with him. Like
They've
what
never
the,
seen this
He's got a
dude.
Never
baby.
even seen him.
A single dad with a baby.
He does have that like MILF, bait thing.
What if
going for him.
they take it off and he's all buck toothed and one
He's
eye?
the fucking guy in the cantina hanging out with Pussyface,
So my friend here doesn't like you. I'm a Mandalorian.
The nose is up on his eye. Like, what was with that?
By the way, when the 8th episode, when he took his helmet off finally, and I'm all, oh, it's Inigo
a guy.
Montoya. And he's looking for the guy that killed his father, so prepare to die.
And Black Saber.
Dude, that was pretty. The Dark Saber.
Dark
Black
Saber.
Saber. Black Saber's the
Marvel
porn spin-off.
superhero.
Was that supposed to be a lightsaber?
So the Dark Saber is actually an expanded universe thing from like Clone Wars and Rebels and everything.
Never heard of it.
Well, what it was is the Mandalores basically built this lightsaber out of a black kyber crystal, and then it became like the leader of the Mandalores, specifically one tribes. The Vizslas they had this sword, and it's never shown up in any of like the regular.
You're saying
TV show.
words, but none of this shit makes any sense to me.
So
at this
way
point.
Back long ago.
So what happens is
In a time.
Star Wars Rebels, like one of the characters from that show ends up becoming the clan leader, and then
So we have Mandalorians in Rebels.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
So one of the characters
Didn't know that.
is like hip spray painting Mandalorian. So it's
Oh Jesus.
she's easily my least favorite character on that show. So
So you got the tagger.
I'm like no lie, like literally she's like
Wow.
It's terrible.
We're
Wild
trying
child.
to appeal to that teen demographic, aren't we?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, wow.
And the rest of the show, it's great. That stuff,
don't know, dude.
terrible.
Just like the Clone Wars movie with what's her face.
Oh, dude, so bad. That Clone Wars movie is so bad.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
We
either
gotta
one of those
save
series.
Jabba's baby.
The Rebels, if I would go through and pull out certain episodes for you, you'd really like the Rebels. Like, there's some really good stuff
I'm
in
not
there.
doing that.
Okay, I mean,
I just know right now. I love Star Wars. I've grown up with Star Wars. I saw it in the theater when it came out.
you grew up with Hayden Christensen as the best version
That
of
is
Anakin
not
Skywalker.
fucking Star Wars.
Is the only Vader I know.
Exactly.
That's George Lucas just trying to have a successful project again after years of nothing.
Chris is like hashtag not my Vader.
Wait.
Not my.
At least he
Vader.
didn't put NSYNC in the movie like he originally planned.
No, he did not.
Wait,
No,
what?
Originally, he was going to put NSYNC in the Jedi Council to appease his like daughters or granddaughters or whatever.
That would have made so much fucking sense based on what we have.
That's a lie.
I am dead serious.
That is.
You can Google that shit.
just because I can Google lots of stuff, but they're not going to tell me NSYNC on the Jedi Council is a real thing.
That would have been cooler than what we got.
No.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh, you guys are both crazy. You're both
Well,
wrong.
they do want it that way.
Oh my god.
Is that them? I don't even.
Don't tell me lies. All right. But no, man. So what did we think about the end of The Mandalorian? That episode
Ain't
8.
nothing but a Jedi.
Stop it, Chris.
No, I was so excited when IG-88 pulled a Dante's Peak. Or not 88, but
IG-11.
IG-11.
Yeah. He was like, I saw the lava and he's like, oh no, it's the grandma moment from Dante's Peak where he's going to push the boat.
I was kind of over the IG-11.
I forgot about that.
I was kind of over it at that point. Like,
I was
people
mad.
were mad. Like, I know
was
you were
mad.
mad about it. I'm like, fuck that dildo.
He was a great
blow
character.
itself up and let's move on.
Yeah, but once again, it's like we spent.
We're gonna kill off Ming Na Wen and keep this stupid fucking dildo guy.
Why are we spending all these times introducing characters on a show that's only friggin' 8 episodes in just to kill them off a second time? Like, IG-11, it's like, I mean, granted, we could probably just bring him back again.
Yes, we could.
You know?
Or just another IG unit.
Well, I mean, technically they exploded. We don't know where the head disappeared to.
Oh my god.
I thought for sure they were going to take the head and stick it on top of that R2 unit. And
Well, they actually used that head to repower Palpatine.
Or it already looks like a dildo.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This could be a whole new spinoff.
With the Rebel Shock Trooper.
IGOMG.
By the way, we don't have sleeves in the future. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
I mean, I know she's got guns and what have you, but come on.
I must admit, I really like her on the show.
She's great.
Yeah, I like her on the show a lot.
And what episode did she premiere in? The farm episode.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
did.
that doesn't mean anything to me. She was like the only thing redeemable about that episode.
It was fine. I didn't mind losing IG-11. Sorry, that's a big yawn. I didn't mind losing IG-11.
God damn it.
And I didn't mind losing the Ugnaught.
Yeah, I didn't really care about Nick Nolte.
This is the way. But at the end of the
He
day,
was a fucking Vulcan is what he was.
he was a Vulcan.
Yeah, he had like zero emotion.
No.
He bugged me.
It was sad
Oh.
when he died.
Yeah, like it kind of bummed me out.
No, I was like, whatever.
I like the cliffhanger end of episode 7 more than I like the resolution of 8.
I would agree with that 100%. Like that would have been a great way to end the season.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Like Nick Nolte shot, the baby's been picked up, the child's gone, and it's just like fuck.
Like, oh my God.
It was good though, man. I enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, but they tied it up in a bow.
That's fine.
Here's my beef with the end of 8 is literally they're like, okay, well, we've defeated the Imperial forces that are on this planet currently, and they're like, let's get out of here quick, and they're like, we're just gonna stick around now. The neighborhood's been cleaned up,
Right.
And you're like, wait a minute.
The lava planet's a great place to live.
I will say this. I absolutely loved how like dingy and fucked up the stormtroopers all looked.
Yeah.
It was so legit to me that they were all just like ragtag, barely hanging on. This like, we don't have to keep up like military muster anymore. Like we're just kind of out here surviving. Like I loved that.
I mean, sure, but at the same time, like, are we to assume that's all the forces he had? The dude showed up with, he's a Moff. He's gonna have more troopers.
They blew his shit up, dude. He was off on like,
But
R&R.
literally, they're like, the planet's clean, it's cool.
I
Like,
also thought it was funny. They're like, oh, an entire battalion's like waiting outside the gate, and it was like 8 guys.
it's one of those things where I'm like, they went out of their way just so they could set it up so it was just him and Yoda, baby Yoda, leaving the planet again. Like, that's a long way to go to like just have that moment with those two. Everybody Carl Weathers could have gotten on that ship and been like, Mando, and like jumped on with them.
Like, Jesus. What is going on back there?
Do you ever quiet down? Like, why are you?
Inside voice, motherfucker.
We got our jetpack though.
Oh, we did get our jetpack, and he did use it.
He did
That was
use
pretty
it.
dope.
I'm wondering why it took them until episode 9.
8. There was only 8.
Episode 9 of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
For those motherfuckers to learn that they could fly.
Oh, you mean with the new stormtroopers?
Yes.
They can fly now. They can fly now.
We
They
had
can fly now.
We had fucking Boba Fett flying in Jedi.
Come on, that was a fun part of the movie. Why
That
do you-
was like decades prior.
If you repeat something 3 times, it becomes a joke.
the rule of 3, Mike. The
But
rule of 3.
I
A
get it.
punchline's supposed to be funny.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
But I wonder why it took them that many decades to figure out, hey, you know what? That backpack thing was kind of cool. Let's put a jetpack on our stormtroopers.
Also, I'm a bit confused in The Mandalorian why he needs to like be at one with the jetpack in order to operate the jetpack.
Yeah,
like
I
I
don't
wasn't
know.
quite sure. I'm all,
Have you ever flown jetpack, Ron?
your mysticism is interesting to me. Like
It's the midi-chlorians.
I understand
in the,
that weapons
jetpack.
are your religion, but is it like I have to be one with my vibrator in
Yeah,
order for
seriously.
the jetpack to work? And I don't know. It was like, yeah. But look, the show, freaking great. I could watch IG-11 and IG-88 like shoot shit all day long.
I mean, that was fun the first time.
It wasn't fun the second time.
Oh, it was a blast when he came back in Guns
with
A-Blazing.
the speeder bike, dude. Come on.
It was like hokey. That was the only thing I really didn't think was that great.
You liked the end of Game of Thrones, but you didn't like IG-11 shooting shit up.
Dude, I'm just not a fan of dildos. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
And where was Bandage Man when you need him? That's all I'm saying.
Where was Mr. Tampak's bandage?
Where's
Where
Bandage
was he
Man?
at?
Now, did you have a fear for just a half a second when we had the flashback sequence?
That Baby Yoda was going to fall in the lava?
No. We saw the silhouette of the bounty hunter reaching down and picking him up as a flashback. And it was the first time we've really seen one that looked actually like Boba Fett.
I thought we were going to see some Boba Fett.
Here's the thing. What about the shot of when Ming-Na Wen gets shot? And who the hell was that walking up to her on the ground? They like went out of their way to show these boots.
Oh, at the very end of the Tatooine episode?
Weren't
Yeah.
those supposed to be Boba's boots?
Why are they teasing Boba Fett and then not showing him in this season?
Because they haven't cast him yet.
They cast his feet.
I mean, not that they needed to really cast anyone because it's just a person in the suit again.
I don't understand like what purpose that served. It was like,
Why do we need Boba?
but why are you teasing me something unless that was supposed to be the Moff? Like, why are you teasing me something that didn't pay off? I don't get that. Is it going to pay off in like a year from now or 2 years from now? I mean, I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, it's Star Wars, and it is Jon Favreau.
It is Star Wars.
And we're getting pig guards next season.
I saw that.
Oh, goody.
And why is this grate so incredibly strong? I just want to know that. Like, who puts a grate in?
Right.
It can survive blaster fire.
And who puts a grate in directly to the sewers? Like, that place must stink really fucking bad.
Right?
Like, why in the Star Wars universe have they not figured out plumbing yet? I'm just saying.
Well, it's pretty par for the course. I mean, look at the Death Star. They had just a vent that goes to the trash compactor.
I could buy that. It's a big ship. Like, it's
But
like,
imagine the smells coming up from that vent with the little eyeball monster in there.
once again, you're in space. I combine the fact that like you just have a garbage chute that you throw shit into.
That's going to have it go into a hallway? Don't take hallway B right now.
Yeah.
Sean just used the bathroom, guys. Or TK721 just used the toilet, guys.
Yeah.
Don't go to the hallway. Okay, I see where you're coming from there. I see where you're coming from there.
Like, indoor plumbing has not been Star Wars' strong suit.
And not only that, like, what is it in the Star? Like, why do we need a boat in the Star Wars universe
That has a gondolier
And R2-D2 gondolier.
that stands up on little robot legs.
Yeah, I'm just saying there were some interesting choices.
Like, why
made.
is there in a world with repulsor lift technology? Why do I build a boat that can float on lava? Like,
Well, why is there a lava boat gondolier that just hangs out in the sewers in the lava river
I don't know.
in case someone needs passage?
It's just, yeah, it's very like crossing to the land of the dead, you know. And then it's like, oh, an R2 unit with legs. Why?
Yeah.
His
Like-
name is Chiron 24.
I thought about that. I mean, R2 had legs before. They just were shorter. I mean, I don't see why he had legs where legs go instead of arms.
He went on wheels, Chris. He did not fucking walk.
He fucking did walk.
And he didn't
hobbled and walked all the
And he
time.
didn't have little arms to fucking. And also,
The arms were the
I'm
addition.
sorry. Why is the god like he's barely touching the edge of the lava? Like,
Yeah, right.
like how does this thing operate?
I wanted him to beep out a song. Like a little gondolier song. Beep boop beep boop beep 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 boop boop.
Like, where are you going with this?
It's like the Venice canals.
Do they
yeah.
sing
Oh yeah.
in Venice?
Oh yeah, it's like
you
part
go
of
to
being
Venice-
Italian. Very
Really?
yeah.
You go to the casino in Vegas and they do it too.
Really?
That's the closest I've ever been to Venice. So that and Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. All right. You talking about the Far From Home?
Yeah,
Yes.
the new one, the one you haven't seen.
Still have not seen it.
One of the best Spider-Mans ever.
So good, dude.
I mean, I guess
So
it's in my file for like shit that I don't really fucking care to see, but maybe someday I'll watch it.
I dug.
I even own it.
I dug the TIE fighter design that they brought in. Like that was like a leftover one from a Kylo Ren ship that they didn't use, with like the landing units there. I like the troop transport. Like we hadn't seen that before. I think we saw maybe in Rogue One. Like,
Oh yeah.
but that was like an old Kenner toy design.
Yeah.
that they had never used. That they brought. Like stuff like that was pretty cool.
that stuff is fun.
The E-Web in action was pretty dope. Like
What's that?
The like the 50 cal, but the Star Wars version of the 50 cal. So
I know all those little like wrist gauntlet weapons, just power-ups.
all the stuff. How's this? All the stuff that's like was just sort of on a an actor that never got used. Like he used the flamethrower all season, you know,
Right.
his little the little laser thing on, you know, with the missiles and all that. Like there were so many cool things about the show. I mean, look, everybody's welcome to their own opinion about Star Wars. Not a lot happened in this show.
That's what I liked about it.
That's fine.
It wasn't rushing through two and a half
moments,
movie and a
man.
half like Rise of Skywalker did.
It was quiet moments, dude, and I'm fine with that. But people that are like, "Oh, this is reinventing Star Wars," and I'm like, it really isn't. It's just sort of, it's not a lot of plot. It's a lot of aesthetics, and I'm okay with that because it looks fucking cool and it's fun to watch. But there's not a lot going on. This is not like Shakespeare that we're watching here. You know, it's a Western. I'm watching a Western. And not even like, you know, like a Coen Brothers remake of a good Western, you know, like True Grit. It's just, you know, it's the dude and Baby Yoda and...
The dude?
Yeah.
It's fucking... Lebowski?
He does abide.
The dude abides. This is the way. You know, man.
This is the way.
So...
The baby brings the room together.
By the way, those stormtroopers at the opening of
Oh my
episode 8...
God, that was the best ever.
I was worried, but also really hopeful that there was going to be just an hour-long episode of the two of them. Because it just kept going, and I'm like, I love this.
Like, because you're like, okay, this is definitely like some... I mean, there was an old comic book called Tag and Bink Are Dead, which was... I don't remember the author's name, but it was old Dark Horse comic, and it was basically like these two stormtroopers, and they were basically following along with New Hope. And so it's like...
Oh, so it's like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It's
I like
like, you know, and then they wrote a second one, and it was like them following along with Empire and Return of the Jedi. So, but Tag and Bink were basically like these two guys.
These are comics?
Yeah, they were...
These sound phenomenal.
They're fun. They were fun. They were one-offs. So, but they came out in like the early 2000s. Like,
Oh, that sounds great.
really silly. I don't even know if you could find them anymore because Dark Horse, all their stuff's out of print. So,
Really?
well, because Marvel sold all their stuff, or Marvel has the rights to all the
Dark Horse?
Star Wars stuff now.
Oh, wow.
So all the Dark Horse stuff is no longer with us. So
That was like the comic I read the most. It was Dark Horse.
well, I mean, all of their Star Wars titles, I have a shit ton of them. It's like, you know, I mean, you could probably still find them on trade
I'm
paperbacks
sure
and stuff like
you
that.
can get it Amazon or something.
But these two fucking guys, like sitting over there, like when he slapped the bag with Baby Yoda in it the first
oh my
time,
God.
you're just like, oh, jeez.
He hit the baby.
He's all-
fucking South Park. Going,
He's like,
don't
shut up,
kick
you.
the baby.
And then the other guy's like, well, can I see it?
I just want to make sure it's okay. You hit it pretty hard. I want to make sure it's okay.
You just want to see it. Well, you got to see it.
It's like so ridiculous.
I love. It's so cheesy. But them fucking shooting at the little thing on the ground was the best. And they're like shaking the blasters. Like, well, something's wrong with this fucking thing.
Because it goes-
And no discussion.
It goes along the lines of like, why are stormtroopers the worst shots ever? And they literally cannot hit a can that's like...
A meter away from them.
And I love that neither one of them said anything about it.
Well, and here's the brilliance
like
of that,
no
though.
acknowledgement.
It's like a complete setup for why they're able to shoot their way out of that later, you know? I mean, let's be real. The Empire wins through overwhelming force. They don't
Right,
win
they're zombies.
through... Yeah.
That's what they are.
There's so many of them. Like, how do you beat them? You
Well,
know?
they are precise shooters, according to Obi-Wan.
That's
He says
just-
that?
in Star Wars.
Episode 4.
Too precise for sand people.
Oh, wow.
These are the shots of Imperial stormtroopers.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sniper Brigade.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Because it certainly wasn't those two
those
guys.
fucking speeder bike guys.
Wouldn't it be great if they somehow survive? Like, I want to see those guys make a
Every
comeback.
season,
yes.
It's just like somewhere in the middle of next season, like they're
Please,
alive.
Jon Favreau, please bring them back.
Yeah.
Who did he direct that episode, or was that?
No, it was Dave Filoni, I think, did that one.
So
No, I
good.
think it was Favreau.
He
No, it
wrote
was Taika. Taika Waititi.
Oh, yeah.
That's why.
That's why.
That's why it was so good.
Well, that dude's
Well,
got a
after
flair.
that, everyone was like, "Can you please give him a movie? Like, let him do a movie for Star Wars."
Who, Taika?
Oh yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. His aesthetic is not... You don't want a jokey Star Wars movie like that.
Fucking
for-
hey, I want a jokey.
I
Star
want my
Wars
Lord and
movie.
Miller solo movie.
I mean, you kind of got a little bit of it.
Not the good parts.
Dude, I don't know that would have been any good either. Like, that second Lego movie was not great.
It was not.
So it was really trying too hard to be like have a twist in it that it didn't need to have.
I never saw any of the Lego movies. Lego Batman, none of them.
Lego Batman's great.
Lego Batman is probably the third best Batman movie ever made.
I tried for about 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this.
It's like right there behind the Batman '89 and Dark Knight. So,
Okay.
dude, the Joker recruits Sauron to help him.
And it's Zach Galifianakis.
and he recruits fucking Voldemort. It's so great. All the WB properties that they're allowed to use.
Yeah.
And then they all come and invade the city, and then the Joker helps Batman fight all the villains. It's fantastic.
It's a lot of fun.
How are you not into that?
I don't know, dude. It's just too much. It just was.
Dude, I love. What's his face? The fat guy, Jonah Hill as. Is it Jonah Hill as Robin? No, it's the guy from Scott Pilgrim.
John, not John Cena.
John Cena.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera. We weren't even close.
John Cena's brother, Michael Cera. They're gonna do Twins, a remake.
He's so great as Robin. I can't see. The problem is for me now. I can't see Michael Cera and not see him in This Is the End when he's like,
"Hey, you want to see my phone?
Who took my phone? All right, guys, it's not funny. Who took my phone?
Oh, it's in my pocket."
After he gets stabbed by the light pole. Have you not seen This Is the End?
No, I have. I just don't remember that.
Oh, dude, right before like the pit opens up to swallow everybody at the party.
Okay.
And Michael Cera's like when he blows the coke into the one guy's face. He's like, "Oh my god!" So I've never done coke. He's like, "Well, you have now." He's so great in that movie.
They had a horror maze at Universal, and outside the maze, they had
Michael Cera blowing coke on you.
No, they had Michael Cera on the impaled on the light pole.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't seem real.
It was fun. Like, no, it wasn't like a legitimate actor. It was like a prop up there.
It wasn't really Michael Cera?
No.
That would have been cool.
He's like, "Well, I've been looking for work." Or he's
Well, the lady from Us, Lupita, she went into the Us maze for a while and worked the up maze.
No.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Depp on Pirates?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was like a 10 minutes, just long enough for the cameras to roll. But
Right. I love that kind of shit, dude.
it's fun.
I mean, if you had,
I'm sure it was right around the time Johnny Depp pulled his shit.
oh no, that was like
Years ago.
when he went on Pirates of the Caribbean and was Captain Jack and just hanging out.
That was that long ago?
Yeah, that was like maybe like 4
It
years
was before
ago.
Disney turned their back on him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you beat up your woman.
Well, now it's...
Allegedly.
I was like,
Me too?
send all complaints to Chris Thayer at Nerdlife Crisis.
So Chris Thayer hates women. That's what we're getting.
Maybe me too?
Who knows with those two?
Yeah, well,
We got to talk about Watchmen. We got to talk about Watchmen.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that we went that long without getting together. So fucking good, dude. And it's funny because somebody was online. It was Joe, the artist, Joe Caroni.
Yeah.
Who does a lot of the Star Wars artwork, like the legit posters and whatnot for the films. And he was talking about how it was just like pitch perfect from day one. And I was not seeing that in the first 2 episodes. I was like, this is good, but I'm not hooked. By the time I got to like episode 3 and 4, I was in. I wrote back to him. I'm like, dude, I see it now.
Well, I also think it's one of those things that, like the original Watchmen comic, that upon completion, you can go back and look at its entirety and realize how well put together it was.
Right.
I mean, I felt the same way, like when I'm watching the opening where I'm like, okay, well, why are you calling it Watchmen? There's like, not really, there's kind of connections to the Watchmen universe, but not really, And
That's just brand recognition. But I mean, there are connections.
well, at the end, by the time you get to the end and you realize this whole thing is like, it's written as a sequel and a very good sequel at that,
Right.
And the fact that, like all of the little things, and by the way, spoiler, like tons and tons of spoilers. And if you haven't watched it because you watched the first episode and you were like, oh, this is a bit racial, like it's undertones, the same way as the original, what had the undertones of the Cold War and, politics. This one, it's got this undertone of what's going on in Tulsa, but it becomes such a small yet large part of the grander narrative.
The first episode too, it feels very like real and grounded. The shrimp fall from the sky, every now and then, things like that. But you're like, where's the comic book element? And it seeps back in and it gets nice and wacky.
Oh man, and then every episode you're just like, well, what are we gonna get next?
Right. There was a lot of where are they fucking going with this?
Jeremy Irons,
dude. All the stuff with Ozymandias, and once again, if you haven't seen it, fast forward past this entire discussion, because part of the fun is the discovery of this.
Absolutely.
And if you don't get to go through this, just know that pretty much outside of Night Owl and Rorschach, who's dead because he got exploded, everybody else is in it. And it's like, you're like, well, you get to the end and you're like, oh, Dr. Manhattan is a part of this,
Hooded Justice.
Hooded Justice is a part of this in a completely unexpected way,
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't sell enough how freaking good this was. And Regina King, owns this, man.
Yeah, I was never really a big fan of her, but I am now, dude. She is dope. This is a breakout role for her.
I would say she's already had.
No. As far as
For you.
showing her skills, I don't know that I've seen her in anything where I've thought, wow, that was awesome.
I can't place her off the top of my head.
You can't place anything Regina King's been in.
She was in Big Bang Theory.
She was in Big Bang Theory, wasn't she?
Well, there you go.
Holy shit.
The HR department.
That's right. And then she was
not HR. It was It was HR.
No, she was the head of the university or some shit.
No. She was the one that they would go to when they would do something racist or sexist or whatever.
It was always Sheldon would go to her and have issues.
Or Wolowitz.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, man. She's done a lot of really good stuff. I mean, she did The Leftovers. If you hadn't seen that, no, not a big fan of The Leftovers. If Beale Street Could Talk, she just did that not too long ago. She was in the movie. She was in the movie Ray. She did Ray.
This is true.
She never seen it.
Ray. She was great in Ray.
You never saw Ray.
No, I saw Walk Hard though.
Oh Jesus.
She did a season of 24.
Oh, that's right.
You guys don't remember 24?
I love that show back when it was on.
Dude, she was in Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, well, now that
Never
you say
seen
that, I take it back.
Come on, man. You never Mike. I'm legitimately.
I've happened to miss every movie this lady's in.
No kidding. Dude, she was in How Stella Got Her Groove Back. She was in Jerry Maguire. She was married to
Cuba
Gooding Jr.
I've never seen Jerry Maguire.
Dude,
How have you never seen Jerry Maguire?
I was young when that movie came out.
Mike,
I was a kid.
she was in Friday.
Who was she in? She was the sister, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, y'all are stupid.
Not y'all, just me.
Well, yeah. She was on the show 227. Have you never seen the show 227?
I've never even heard of 227.
Oh, okay. Well,
is it a sequel to 226? Across the street from 225?
You're an asshole. How do you not remember 227? That's such a great show. That was
fun.
That show was nominated for a Golden Globe of all things.
Couldn't, if you could pay me $1 million right now, I couldn't tell you the plot at all.
It had Jack A.
Or even what genre it would be in.
It was part of the the Cosby Show spin-offs, in that.
Oh, era. I was watching The Simpsons at that point.
Whatever. God hates you. Anyways,
I grew up with white trash.
Well, that's for sure. But yeah, man, the amount of unbelievably good performances and the storytelling, just the storytelling to me alone was worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
When you get to the end of Ozymandias' tale and you essentially realize that Dr. Manhattan drops him on
a moon of
Jupiter, creates life for him, now here's the thing. Who were those people to him? Aside from the
Adam and Eve.
Right. But it was obviously that couple.
No, they took him in.
But it was based, the life forms were based upon the couple that Ozymandias had seen as a kid.
Yeah.
Remember? Right.
So, or whoever that young...
They gave him a Bible or something.
It just was weird that, that was really... But then the fact that he basically was I know I'm going to be stuck here for a certain amount of time, because he already knew how the future was going to pan out. And created his own, one of the clones to be his adversary as the warden, literally because he's well, I was going to be bored.
And yeah, it pushes you to be better and to challenge yourself.
But I love when he's like,
was I worthy adversary?
And he's all, no,
you weren't.
But like, there's so many little things like that in the show. The fact that like literally from the jump, Dr. Manhattan's on the show and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
You know, but then as the clues are being dropped, you're like, oh, I'm down with that. Okay, I see what's happening. And Lou Gossett as
He looked pretty ragged in the very beginning.
I think they were leaning into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So and then I love Lori Blake, when she kept referring to him as Mirror Man.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's looking glass. And he's all okay, mirror guy.
Mirror guy.
But Tim Blake Nelson, freaking amazing in that show. And his one episode, like because everybody got like a backstory episode.
Yeah.
So my only complaint is we didn't get a backstory episode with Lady True.
Yeah. I want to know more about her.
I did as well.
Who's Lady True?
The Asian, his daughter.
Oh, right.
Asian lady.
Right. Then we got that.
Not like her character ended up being a little one-dimensional only because we didn't get like the Tim Blake Nelson episode or the
Like
Gene
when she showed up at
Smart
that couple's
episode.
house and is like, I already have created your daughter. Like, I want your property in the next 7 minutes.
Well, that's because Ozymandias was crashing to the ground on on that property, and she knew it. You know, the rocket went a little off course, Mike.
I know, but it's like I want that kind of crap was interesting to me, and I wanted more of her.
Oh no, absolutely. And I wanted. I mean, look, I thought like Looking Glass as the Rorschach sort of amalgam, I thought was very interesting. Lori Blake, like seeing what had happened to her after.
That was really nice.
Just hated superheroes.
Yeah, but at the same time, like was still the same hero she had always been.
Yeah.
You know, and then like seeing the heroes of Tulsa, as it were, and sort of this idea of like the whole like. Did you have that moment like the first 2 episodes? You're like, why is this taking place in Tulsa?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you
Why
realize
they have Oklahoma playing?
Yeah, but then you're like, oh. Okay, well, this makes... And then when they get to the point where, like, Looking Glass is doing the focus group, and they're trying to get people to come back to New York, and he's like, nobody's going to come back to New York. 3 million people died there. It's a ghost town. And you're like, oh, God, that's true. Like, who the fuck would want to live in New York after that?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I loved his whole backstory episode with the carnival.
Oh, yeah.
In New Jersey.
Absolutely.
See, this is what I didn't quite get. How does the outcome of the movie with the
movie doesn't... The book and the movie are not the same ending.
Okay.
So in the movie...
I've not read the book.
Okay, so the book, the squid moment, they show the giant squid.
That actually is in...
That's in the book.
Why did they get rid of that?
Because...
They thought it'd be too silly for the movie.
Yes.
Maybe. It probably would have been.
But would it have been?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Without the follow-up, it would have been goofy.
The whole point is that it's you get the same concept of Dr. Manhattan bombs going off,
Right.
Which is the external threat, like threatens us all.
But that makes more sense in the context of that time. I get what you're saying.
It's easier for a non-Watchmen audience.
Right. If you've never read the book,
Because
like
they're
me,
going, okay, this character's now become the villain, or at least been framed as the villain to the public.
Right.
The problem, and as much as I love the Watchmen movie, because I think it's a good movie, but it's not the same as the comic book, because one of the tenets of the comic book is that all of these superheroes are completely ineffectual outside of Dr. Manhattan, and even he's ineffectual because they don't really do anything that's better for society. They're not really good at like stopping crime. They don't really do. They're not good. Like the whole Night Owl fight scene in the jail is very Zack Snyder. You know, it was like, it's very 300, which is what you expect. But the whole point of Night Owl is that Batman is an ineffectual character.
Right.
And even Night Owl 2, like, he cannot fight. Like, he's not a great fighter. He's just Mr. Gadget guy.
Right.
Yeah, he's tubby and...
Yeah, kind of how the original Batman was a little bit. Like, originally Batman was he's a detective that, like, he wasn't like Captain Ninja until like later on as time went on.
Right.
And I think that was, Alan Moore like really looking into that.
Alan Moore really came out against superheroes movies.
Well, he got screwed. Like,
No, but he
royally.
recently came out and said he was super disappointed with the success of all the Marvel stuff.
He's bitter, man.
He's super bitter.
Well, wouldn't you be bitter if you made a deal with DC, you created Watchmen, you created this whole thing, and you were like, I'm going to make an agreement with you, and I'm going to get paid on the back end on this thing.
Right.
And then they went out of their way to screw you on the money.
I don't know about this.
Oh, yeah. This is why Alan Moore hates the comic book industry because he got screwed royally, like multiple freaking times. Like, do a little research on it and you'll see like this guy has been hosed like every way till Sunday. And he just is like, that's why he is a bitter man, you know? And you know, he's a great writer, and great writers are often goofy as well.
This is true.
So, which is why my writing's not especially good. I'm not goofy enough, you know? So
Go
You're
live in a
pretty
cave
goofy.
for a while.
but you know, it's like at the end of the day, Alan Moore is going to be Alan Moore. He doesn't like anything that's produced of his stuff.
No, he took his name off of pretty much everything.
Well, this is why when he created League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh.
Well, have you ever read the book or just
No.
saw the movie?
Oh my God, that movie was horrendous.
The movie's terrible. Like the movie's unfriggin' watchable. The books are actually pretty good.
No, yeah. The concept is great. It's just the movie was bad.
Terrible execution. Just terrible execution. But he didn't even want to sell the rights for that to be made. And that's why he wrote that book, was after he got screwed out of Watchmen. And he was like, I'll never give up the rights for any of my stuff again. And lo and behold, you know, they made that movie and it's like, it was terrible. And you're like Alan Moore and you've created all this great stuff. And they can't make a good movie based on anything you've written, you know? So... But it's
so bad. So bad. That's one of those movies that I bring up whenever there's a bad thing, like a bad film or a bad TV show, and the wife gets mad.
Yo, I'm gonna make you watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Exactly, because she made me go to that bullshit. And occasionally it'll come on, and I'll just use that as ruthlessly to go after
And it's
her.
Sean Connery like, listen here, I'm Alan Quatermain.
Yeah.
What that movie always blows my mind because I always get it confused with because it's so freaking similar to Van Helsing.
Oh God, it kind of is.
Same
isn't
look, same style,
It
same
was-
idea of the mashup. Of
It
all
was
these
that
characters.
point when like everything was being funneled through that tone.
that bluish grayish
yeah,
filter.
yeah. There was like a 3-year period where that happened, you know. So, but yeah, man. I mean, look, going back to Watchmen, there was some really amazing stuff going on in there. You know, I love the concept. Like, I thought the 7th Cavalry was like a lot of like fun as far as villains go.
Oh yeah,
You know?
mind control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it was so funny because it's like, well, yeah, they've got motivations and they're not especially great, but you know, it's like they're cool villains. I'll go with it. You know, there was some stuff I like in the finale that I didn't quite necessarily get. Like, I didn't get why Lady True felt like, why did she need the 7th Cavalry to capture Dr. Manhattan so then she could come in and recapture him? I wasn't sure about that. And that's why I was like, I would like a Lady True backstory, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he is kind of the ultimate power.
Well,
I don't know.
He's got godlike power. Of course,
Yeah.
he's the ultimate power.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I maybe it's just thin. It's just a little thin in the writing. They needed some logical big bads, not big bads, but you know, like henchman type characters.
Well, I kind of want to
sell it.
I'm looking forward. Like, Elena and I started watching it because after I got finished, I was like, "You got to watch this. Like, it's so good. You got to watch this."
Well, I think also it's the idea of also if you hire a bunch of yokels or encourage a bunch of yokels to do this terrible thing, everyone's gonna be watching them and fighting them, and they're not going to see what she's doing.
A little bit of sleight of hand.
Yeah, they're the misdirection.
I mean, that's a good answer as any.
Well, and then plus fulfilling the agreement with Hooded Justice, essentially to line all this up.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of moving parts to this
because
plan.
our main characters had no idea she was behind, what she was doing.
No, like nobody did, you know. But I love her reaction to everything. Like when she's like when her mom gets or when Ozymandias gets sent away, she's like, "No, he's supposed to be here to see this." And it was like, it wasn't for pride, it was for revenge. It was like just to show you that I'm better than you, you know.
Right.
I did it without your help.
Right. Well, is there anything that you hated about this whole thing?
About Watchmen? No.
I kind of wish like the FBI guy just sort of disappeared, like her sidekick. Like, he was like a big part of the like 3rd, 4th, and 5th episodes, and then he was just gone.
Oh, I totally forgot about him.
Well, he turned out to be like in the aftermath, he was the lube man, the guy that like showed up randomly at the beginning of like one of the episodes, and she was like chasing him as was it Sister Night, and she's all, "I'm on Lube's man's trail," and the dude like oiled himself. up
Oh,
with vinegar.
that's who that
And
was?
yeah, like, but it didn't say
I
it.
didn't catch that.
It didn't say it in the show. Like, it were hints that it was him, and then after the fact, they had like supplementary stuff that came out, and it was him.
Oh, dude, that was like a thread that completely got lost.
And
for
it
me.
came out of nowhere, and you're
Right.
like, Lube Man? Who the fuck is Lube Man? So, but
I forgot all about that.
yeah, I mean, so let me ask you a question. We all watched the show. She ate the egg. Does she have the power of Dr. Manhattan?
That's what he said about what would happen.
It had to be. It has to. Because what's the point of that whole scene?
The guy is God. He knows the future. He knows everything.
He knows she's going to do that.
He sets up the egg idea.
Gives her the thought.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think it's left open. It's left open to interpretation.
Real question is, are they going to do a season 2?
I hope they don't. I hope
Really?
it just stands alone as a miniseries. How are you going to top that?
I think it'd be pretty dope.
How are you going to top it, though? Unless you have an idea that's just as good, which they don't.
I mean, maybe.
There's no way. And then, but it becomes the second season of Heroes, where you get done with the first season of Heroes, and you're like, this was really good. Like, up until the big battle at the end, like, this was a really good show and a really fun ride, and it had lots of mysteries that unfolded. And then they got to the end of the first season, and they didn't have a plan for season 2, and it showed. And then the rest of the show was pretty much terrible after season 1. And I just don't. I mean,
Yeah.
Watchmen to me was like, this was as perfect as 8 hours of television could be for me, like start to finish. And there was mysteries and turns and twists, and it was fun. And I got done with it, and I was like, holy shit, this was good storytelling.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, man. So anyways, any dumb shit? You got any dumb shit stories?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I don't know if it qualifies as dumb shit, but I don't know if I told you, Darian is now a vet tech.
I think you talked about this.
Yeah. I'm sure I could go into hours of dumb shit that she has done. But yeah, she is now a vet tech, which means people are bringing their animals in, and she is the person that takes care of their animals. And I cannot for the life of me figure out why anyone thought this was a good idea.
Well, didn't she get bit in the face by a dog?
Yeah, she got mauled by a fucking dog.
Oh, did she get Darth mauled?
Yes, she did. She did. No, I mean, it was, of course, a poodle, because poodles are the fucking
That's when you
stupidest
take one
dogs
of 2
ever.
points, Mike. And you...
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, I think she would be really good with old people.
Well, how about old dogs? Would she do
But-
well with older
but
dogs?
I
No
think
old people have mauled her yet.
Animals and her energy, her vibe, I always kind of figured this would be a really bad combination, and it was a total accident. I don't know if there's anything she could have done differently.
Not get
but
bit by the dog?
I was not entirely surprised.
Move backwards 2 inches?
Yeah, no,
Don't rub bacon grease on
I
your
think
face.
the dog freaked out. She was like washing the dog or something, and the dog's foot got stuck in the mesh or something, and it's a total freak accident. But this is Darian we're talking about.
Does she have some pretty bitchin' scars now?
She's got some pretty. Her chin was pretty fucked up. Dude.
Wow.
Like there's talk of plastic surgery.
Ooh, is she like a Batman villain now?
Not quite. Not quite.
Would you puncture a hole or fucking
The dog whistle.
Yeah, she's definitely not the dog whisperer.
Mexican Joker?
So yeah, she's more like Mexican Joker. No, so yeah, that was I surprisingly not a surprise when I got that call. It's like, well, yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, of course the dog bit her. It's Darian. Like
The dog. Have you looked at her?
She has a history of animals trying to maul her face. She got a little scar under her eye from a cat or something.
Oh, I always thought that was like a gang tattoo or something.
No,
Like
it's not a teardrop. It's a scar.
So she has a history of animals trying to attack her, and she gets a job at a vet tech.
You are as surprised as I was. But she seems to enjoy it, aside from the
Does she want to feed the tigers
several
next?
weeks off on workman's comp and, the 21 stitches that she got or 17 or whatever.
That's a lot of stitches.
Yeah, luckily the bad stuff was under her chin. But yeah, so yeah, recently we gave her an option because she's become very interested in going to Goodwill to shop for her wardrobe. And
She's gonna pop some tags.
she has a gift for finding the shit that the homeless people won't wear because it's so ugly. Even they go, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. So we made her a deal. We said, if you throw away everything you own, we will buy you a brand new wardrobe. And she still said no. So she's wearing her crushed velvet brown pants.
By the way, that's some first world problems if I ever heard of.
It's embarrassing, dude. It is absolutely embarrassing.
So let her be weird.
She's a hipster.
No, dude, this is a whole new level. This is a whole new level. I can't. We are like plotting to go in when she's not home one day and just replace her whole room, her whole. She brings home like rugs that look like shit that like third world countries go, yeah, that's hideous. Don't put that in here. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Like, where does she buy all this shit from?
Goodwill.
Well, Goodwill's got some good stuff.
No,
man.
she brought home a filing cabinet. It was like mint green, like not the color you would see a file. 2 drawers, and said, "This will be my dresser."
What?
No.
What?
This thing.
She's trying to have the college bachelor life.
She
at
totally
home.
is in a brand new home. Yeah. Like everything about.
Is there a
this
spool
like,
that she
what
could
are
buy
you
for a
doing?
coffee table?
Dude, I had a coffee table spool at one point. Let me
You
tell
did.
you. Let me tell you.
No, it's like every day with her. Every day.
I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah.
It's been so quiet around here. I don't know how to like all that. My problem is my son is slowly turning into an old Jewish man. So I have Bernie Sanders living with me now.
Dude, when Steve left, it was like, hey, he took his kids home. Hey, you want to walk him out? No, it's cold.
No, it's cold.
It's like, duh.
So we're leaving. We went over to some of the wife's work folks, and they got kids and what have you. So we went over and had like an evening right before Christmas, like the Monday before Christmas, and we're all hanging out. And we get done and we jump in the car, and I throw the radio on and listen to the Clipper game on the way home. And he's sitting in the back seat listening, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, Dad." I said, "What, buddy?" He goes, "Can you turn on some jazz?" And I'm like, "But I'm listening to the
But
basketball
none of that
game."
newfangled jazz. I want some of that traditional, like.
So he's like, should you turn on some jazz? And I was like, I mean, I guess it's not that long of a drive home. And so I turn on the jazz station, and it's like John Coltrane comes on, and he goes, "Ah, that's nice." I'm just like, whose child are you? You know? And then he's like, he does he does all of these. He's picked up like all of this physicality from me.
Right.
So he does the thing where he opens his arms up wide and he goes like, "What are you doing?" It's like, but he'll go like, I'll go, "Hey, you need to go outside." And he goes, "I already did this." Again? So it's, yeah. My son is slowly becoming Bernie Sanders. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to come home one day from work and he's going to sell me on affordable health care or some shit like that.
We're going to clean up the planet.
Yeah.
After we clean up the backyard.
So this little prick got some magic stuff, and his Uncle Mike has gotten him into magic slowly but steadily.
Oh,
yep. Thanks,
excellent.
Mike. So he got this ring that like actually has like a squirter on it. Mm-hmm. I know you've seen these before, right?
Yeah.
So I come home and it's like I've been working at a gig all day, like 12 hours, like doing lighting, and I'm just exhausted. And I walk in the door and I'm like, I come upstairs. And he runs up and he's like, "Dad!" And he acts like he's gonna give me a hug, and then he fucking squirts me with this squirter thing. And then just laughs, and I'm just like, I'm soaked. I'm like sitting there and I'm just like, "You little son of a bitch."
Ta-da!
Yeah.
It's magic.
So his mom's like, she goes, "Ronald, okay, well, it's time for bed. You waited for your dad. Go get in the shower." So he goes and get in the shower, and he's sitting there, and I'm taking off my wet shirt, and I look at her and I go, if I was a good dad, I'd run out in the backyard and go grab the super soaker right now and take care of him. And she goes, "You're not." And I'm all, and I run out the door. I go in the pool. The water's ice cold.
Right.
It's got to be 42 degrees outside. And I fill this sucker up. And I come back inside and I go in my office. I wait for him to get out of the shower. And he goes in his room, puts his pajamas on. And then I run into the shower and I hide. And so and Elena starts filming it. And she's like, he's brushing his teeth. And he's like, "Well, what'd you do, buddy?" And he starts laughing. He goes, "I sprayed Dad. I got him so good with the..." And then right at that moment, you see me hit him and like full bore into his chest with it. So a little payback. Just
that's beautiful.
just a little.
That is so
just
good.
a little. And he was so mad.
Of course he was.
You have never seen a 7-year-old like throw daggers like
That's
this kid threw daggers at me.
How dare you?
He was like, "What are you spraying me with this for?"
No, we've been tormenting Darian lately. So Phoebe decided she wanted a snake. And this was around the time I think I came back from New York and there was a snake. And I'm like, why are we housing a reptile now? What the hell? So that one died within a couple weeks.
The snake did?
Yeah, it was Petco or whatever. It was some bullshit. You don't buy shit from there. You buy like food from there, but don't buy pets from those stores. So they, Carrie was like, "Oh, well, let's go right here. Get her another one." I'm like, "She fucking killed the last one. Why are you getting her another one?" So anyway, Darian, who is, what does she do now?
She works with pets.
Yeah, she works with animals. Is afraid of a ball python that's only about a foot long. Terrified. So of course, all of us are tormenting her about it, and we're trying to act like we would never put the snake towards you. It's just a helpless little animal, and she's flipping out, dude. You know how she gets, dude. Louder than shit. Our neighbors probably think that we're like tormenting and torturing somebody in the garage or something. It's like she is so loud. But yeah, that's been this week. Last couple weeks actually, and we all pretend like we're not doing it. What are you doing? Why are you being so weird? It's like, we're all doing it. We're all fucking tormenting her.
So you're gaslighting your daughter.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And then of course it's like, well, why are you a vet tech then? Like questioning her life. What are you doing with yourself then if you're not going to be around animals?
Nothing like questioning your child's life choices to make them feel confident in themselves.
And we're going to take all your clothes and throw them away.
Well, it's like I watched Siegfried and Roy and how that went, and those guys knew what they were doing.
Is she gonna get attacked by a fucking tiger?
I would not be surprised.
She can do lesbian magic? Like,
are they gay?
are they straight?
I really don't know much about them.
Hello, Roy.
Hello, Siegfried. Do you like penis?
I thought they were just like
The only pussies we touch are
European.
white tigers. Oh!
I thought it was just Europe. I didn't know.
I've always just assumed they were super gay.
I didn't know. It never really occurred to me, but okay.
I mean, do as you will, but
Well, I figured they were around all that pussy. It couldn't have been.
Mike
maybe, I don't know.
Mike already used the pussy joke. Like you gotta, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
It's all right.
Ah, shit.
But Siegfried liked to make his wand disappear.
Really?
Now for my next.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Do you have video of Siegfried and Roy somewhere?
No,
All right.
Their sword swallowing act.
that's not the one I want to see. I want to pass on that episode of what the hell is going on.
What show are you watching that stars Siegfried and Roy?
I don't know. I just assumed there was one. I don't know. All the reality shit's got to be on fucking Disney Plus or something.
Hold on. So
They don't have any other content.
You're like, now the Mandalorian's over, we're just gonna show Siegfried and Roy doing gay jokes over here up on the side.
They got hours to fill, $7 a month. I get something.
Well, the intro for that Jeff Goldblum show is almost finished.
Oh my god, that show is so terrible.
I'm the host of the
so bad.
show.
Whose idea was it to make episode 1 about fucking sneakers?
He fucks sneakers in episodes.
Like, who's this show for?
I don't know.
I assume it was like middle-aged women watching the Jeff Goldblum show, which is everybody I've heard that's watched it is middle-aged.
Because he's all handsome, and they're like, and he's like,
I guess. I think he's kind of weird looking myself, but he is goofy as fuck.
Just
Have
a little.
you seen this thing?
I have not.
Dude, I don't know what they were thinking, but like hipstery, like $3,000 sneakers. That's episode 1. Like, who the fuck is this show for?
Well, just like that Encore show where they pull these middle-aged people out and they go like, hey, remember when you were going to be a Broadway star?
I think that's fun.
It's depressing as hell.
Is it? I haven't watched
These people are like, I thought you went to New York. I did. I didn't make it, and I came back, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to play Annie in my 40s.
That is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought they were just going to like rehearse and actually do the show.
They rehearsed for like 5 days.
They rehearsed for 5 days.
They put up a show in 5 days.
Oh, that can't be good.
No. Oh, Lord. See, I was going to submit to that. because I was Danny in Grease in high school.
Well, every episode is filled with people crying about how
Dude, I was fucking terrible.
their life did not turn out the way they wanted it to.
Oh, that's like every actor
Like
I know.
I hope the video of me doing that performance never ever
Somewhere,
sees
if
the
you
light of
have
day.
a video,
Please
Encore
burn it.
season 2. We're gonna get Chris back to do.
So I was thinking about submitting to that because I can fucking sing now. Like I can crush that shit. But I was terrible then.
nobody wants to see you as Danny Zuko, dude. Like,
Dude, people would love to see that shit.
he's like, oh, Miss Nikki,
Hey, yo.
oh, Nikki, come over here.
Oh my god.
It's so weird.
So,
I turned that on Christmas,
Chance of
and
redemption.
my wife walks in. She's like, "You're watching Grease on Christmas?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's the word." And then I'm like,
It's the word.
and I'm like watching it, and I was like, and my Grease Lightning comes on.
Oh yeah. It is
And I was
not safe for
Yeah, I just was like sitting there with Ronald and Andrew, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of vagina reference in this.
Yes.
Just a lot.
Ain't no shit. We'll be getting lots of tit in Grease Lightning.
Go,
It's a
go,
real
go, go,
pussy
go, go,
wagon.
go, go, go.
Chicks will cream.
Yes, they will. Yeah, all those lines were cut in the production that I did.
Oh, you did like a safe version of
Well,
the
it's
show.
high school. What do you want?
To be talking about pussy while you're jumping on a car.
Well, I mean, it seems like a logical thing, but yeah, it's like
Somehow the parents didn't want to watch their teenage daughters.
yeah.
Just jump in the car talking about pussy.
I mean, they
Not
do.
after that whole Siegfried and Roy incident.
All right. Well, with that, let's wrap it up. All right. All right, you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. I have been Lube Man.
I am the dude who beats the shit out of Baby Yoda in the bag.
And I'm Roy's scarred up face.
And we hope you guys are having a nerd life crisis. Music for the Nerd Life Crisis podcast is provided by Big Papa and the TCB. All music available at bptcb.com or at iTunes. The Nerd Life Crisis is recorded at the Inland Blue Studios. Make sure to subscribe to the Nerd Life Crisis at iTunes and like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Nerd Life Crisis.
Bye.